Hey, it's AbomersWeapon.com guy. I wanted to talk a little more about the Oregon State Hospital. Some people think that the state hospital is a treatment facility. It's not. The people in custody feel like they're imprisoned, and there's no personal connections from the doctors to the patients, or even the floor staff and the patients. Everyone, you know, it's very impersonal, and you end up just being managed, thrown around, beat up, bossed around. It's a very violent demeanor you put up with every day. Every patient says that. There's a handful here who are happy to be out of jail. You know, they don't give a fuck. They don't care if they're getting drug dead or whatever happens to them. They think they're getting, there are a lot of drug addicts there. Some of them think they're getting high off the drugs. Oh my god, the doctor's giving me something new to get high off of. So they don't give a fuck. But some of the patients, anyway. But if you notice that relationship, it's very like, there's no personal relationships, like this is my treating doctor or person here. And yet, in all the reports, they'll go and they'll rely on that person to testify about you, and to testify, there's an abuse investigation, they'll go and they'll actually use that person as a witness who's just there to cover everything up and protect his ass and protect the staff. And you're seen as a danger, whereas the staff, they're a team to fucking control you. It's insane. It's like there's a conflict of interest of saying that staff, that doctor should ever have a say about anything you do, who you are, if that staff punched you, if this happened or whatever. Because they'll go in and one of their cover-up methods is relying on the staff to say what happened rather than the security video or the audio. So that way they can just have a bunch of staff get together and say something to have a story to cover up everything. They rely on that, and I've said that before. So the state expects the staff to help cook the books. There is no outside investigation. There's no forensic style investigation. There's no saving of evidence. There's no, you know, trying to get the staff in trouble. Nothing like that. They're all butt buddies. I've seen OIT go as far as to deliberately refuse to say the staff abused a person just to protect the reputation of the staff. And they're also really, I've been told they're really concerned about crimes that the staff, essentially the way it's ran is you can't accuse a staff of a crime. So they don't want a staff to get in trouble for that, and if you accuse a staff and you try to get them in trouble for crime, you're going to find yourself shit-listed. And I've been told that the reason they will never do anything to help anyone is because, you know, you're trying to get staff in trouble. That's not the way that place works, man. You can't get anyone in trouble for sex abuse or some type of physical assault or smuggling in drugs or whatever. Nobody's getting in trouble for that type of shit, or making some profits on the side or whatever. It's a criminal. And anyway, you get into that place, you don't know that you're coming in a shithole at first. Because even though there's lots of documents on the internet, you don't read those. You don't know the story before you get there. You don't know that this person was put into seclusion and restraint violently and then suffocated there on the bed by a staff member who was violent to him with a towel. And that there's been death after death happening like that. You don't know they used to hold tasers to your throat and tase the fuck out of you. You don't know that you're going to get hurt and assaulted in there, and that nothing you do or say matters. That you're going to end up drugged up and on the ground, drooling and unable to move. Okay? You won't be able to get out of bed for 2 days. The next injection they gave you because they wanted to fuck you up. There'll be 20 staff come down to your room and give you a shot of drugs. Then you'll be down on the ground for 2 or 3 days, unable to hardly do shit. You'll be like, where's Jerry at? Everyone's like, oh, they went to his room the other day and gave him a shot. He's all fucked up. Can't even talk. Can't even get out of bed. It's all like that, dude. And then you're all in there to... There's so many staff that you're totally outnumbered. People talk about, well, what can we do when we're there? What can we do to get out of this? And they're all asking, how can I file a lawsuit? How can I... see, there's no help there legally, so you don't. There's very little amounts of these complaints making it to the court, but they're all asking how to do it. How do we do it? How do we do it? How do we do it? And there's some phone numbers on the post on the wall for help, but they don't help you. They're all there just to be the ring man that takes the complaint, then goes tells the staff what you just said. You know, like they just repeat it. You know, they don't fucking do anything like you're in danger. They don't care that you need legal help. Did you know that there's a way you can file a lawsuit called a habeas corpus while you're there? But they don't tell you that. They don't even tell you it's free to file. They don't tell you get an attorney. They don't tell you if your life's in danger to do it. And if you call the police, they'll never come out usually. And when they do come out, that happens every once in a while. They're there talking to the staff like they're best buds with them. And you're asking how to do something, they'll say, well, no, they'll come down and try to act like they're investigating you for a crime, usually. I saw that happen, and then that just fucks the whole process up. Because if the police officer isn't interested in what you're having to say ever, and he's there with the buddy staff members, you know, you get abused and you call the police, and he's just out to play you, and he'll sit there and say, well, if you do this, or we're going to get you instead. You know? They'll threaten you, and whatever they do, they'll go home and cook the books. The reports are all frivolous. So where do you go for help? You're not going to get help. That's the way it works. I heard patient after patient call Disability Rights Oregon. They never get help. There's never been a staff arrested or thrown in jail. There's never been any big lawsuits. Anyway, they're in on it, so they have the keys to the hospital. They walk in and out. They go have lunch with the staff. They carpool with the staff sometimes. I mean, that's the way it was with Harris Matarazzo. He carpooled with the PSRB. That's fucking retarded. He carpools with them, dude. They go, once a year they have a dinner. They used to do this, where Harris Matarazzo goes to dinner with a doctor from the hospital. I mean, that's insanity. That's the type of stuff they're doing. They're all buddies, dude. It's fucking crazy. I had Harris Matarazzo hang up on me when I told him I had security video of the staff abusing me and saying that they're doing all this and violently beating me up and stuff. I heard him. He's on the phone, and all of a sudden you hear the phone like banging around on the headset like he's hanging it up, and then he clicks. I heard him do that. He hung up on me. That's the attorney there at the hospital who's supposed to represent the patients. All the patients tell me the same thing. You can't get help. They say it's all a joke. All of them. Carl McDaniel's another one. They all have this long history. They're trying to get him in trouble. They can't. There's nothing you could do to get these guys in trouble. They could be as corrupt as shit, and you can't get anyone in trouble. Whether it's the attorney, whether it's the PSRB or the doctors, you can file a million complaints and they do it, and you can't get anything. You walk away and nothing's been done. You'll be on a phone restriction all of a sudden. You make a complaint by phone to somebody, they'll put you on a phone restriction so you can't make any complaints. It's fucking sick. Oh yeah. They'll make it so you can't send an email, you can't make any phone calls, you can't do shit. And they're just all deliberately indifferent towards you. Corey Dennison went through that. He told me he related. When I came across him, he told me, man, look, man, you're in danger. I relate to everything you're saying. I had to do all these complaints to get administration to even help me once because at all the lower levels, they were after me. And anyway, his case is legit. I mean, they were threatening him, the staff members of all the doctors. They retaliated against him. You would be back on maximum security for no fucking reason. You didn't even do nothing. He was going through that for years. He's just like me. He had the time out to get out of the hospital. So he had to wait 10 years. He has virtually no mental illness. Okay, we talked to him, nothing. And he just had to sit there and take the bullshit. He told me, unfortunately, the only advice he had some advice, okay? He told me, you better file an injunction. You need to do it because they're going to get you. Unfortunately, I didn't know how to do it. And that was 2008. How do you file an injunction? Dude, I went to the law library. Oh my God. Where do you find that? I mean, there's fucking like 100 books there, and you're trying to find out how to fucking file an injunction, dude, to get help, to stop them from doing what they're doing, from harassing you, to deliberate indifference, to targeting you, all that shit, and to get the security video looked at showing them being violent towards you. You can't. Anyway, I actually talked to an attorney. He said injunction afterwards, though. This is afterwards. He said, well, injunction is incredibly difficult. A lot of information goes into an injunction. So, damn, man, I got told to do something that was impossible for me to do. And that's the only thing that might have worked, though. Well, I want to see the place to shut down because it's definitely too violent and too dangerous to exist. If it's too violent and too dangerous, you got to get rid of it and break it down, and you have to replace it with something much more safer and much more manageable, because people actually have the right to be in a safe place. You're not convicted of any crime. You can't be putting them in a dangerous shithole where they don't have any rights. They got to be treated like regular citizens, and that's the thing that's not currently being done. You're not treated like a regular citizen. You're treated like some violent retard with no rights to be locked up, but you're not convicted of a crime. See, you're acquitted of anything, or you're just there for an evaluation or whatever. Or you're just a citizen civilly committed. So those are the three people at the hospital. They're there for an evaluation, or they're acquitted of their damn crime, and they're guilty except for saying that means they're acquitted because they weren't guilty, or they're freaking they're in civil commitment for treatment only. And if that's all this place is, then they gotta treat you with respect, and then they gotta expect that you're getting out of there someday, and they can't be putting you in a dangerous shithole. Now, I had no history of nothing before I went there, and I'm put in a place not only dangerous patients, but dangerous staff. So the staff, the patients themselves, some of them are dangerous. Drug addicts, they're scheming. They got drug shipments in all the time. They got contraband. They got marijuana and heroin, and they got fucking goddamn ecstasy would come in, dude. And some of this is coming through the staff members. They were shipping it in. They're bringing it in, and then I was around that all the time. So you can imagine if I had no history of being around retards like that, what it would be like for me. And then they come in, the staff would beat me up because I would be the one talking about the crimes and all that shit. I'd be the one trying to expose them and crap. Anyway, I had to go through torture because no one should go around that. If you're just a normal citizen, like imagine yourself up out of high school getting put out into this shithole, and you're the type that was just a goody two-shoe doing your schoolwork and shit, and then you suddenly you're put in this fucking crap hole around all these retards. Can you envision that? Now, that's the way it was. And you feel, the first day I got there, I thought I was in danger of that. I was seeing how retarded everyone was, the use of seclusion restraints. I was in fear of my life in that place. I was scared to crap of everything I was seeing. It was that dangerous. I was like, I don't even need to be here. Why was I sent here? Why the fuck was I sent here? One thing that made it easy to put me there for an evaluation, there's no due process. In California, they have a whole extensive process. You can't even send them to the state hospital without extensive due process. Multiple doctors will evaluate you. They'll determine, they can release you from the jail out into the community. They don't even have to send you to the state hospital. And you get treatment in the community. In California, they have to have a good reason to put you in the state hospital in California. At least that might have been, I might have been able to have a chance to say, hey, I'm normal, I don't need to go there. But no, I didn't even get that chance. But remember, everything you see of me now is after they fucked me up. So before they fucked me up, though, what was I like? That's the thing that nobody will ever know. Because they exposed me to so much weird shit. So much crap. Sexual abuse, assaults, druggings, crimes all around me. Patients, staff, everywhere. Violent beatings, military shit, surveillance. God damn, having to fight for your life every day while everyone mind controls you and abuses you. Mind control is a big part of the game, man. You're being interrogated when you're there secretly. Everything's being charted. And you'll find out that it's kind of like this. They do it in a way that hurts you. So you may not be guilty of something. Let's just say this. If you witness a staff crime, all of a sudden you'll be there for years. Everything's related to that crime that you saw at the first point. And they'll just drag it out for years until you don't even know what happened anymore. They're brainwashing you. They're fucking with you. They're trying to make you think you done something when you didn't. They're trying to make you think that you are the reason all this happened to you. They're hammering at your brain and your psyche, dude. All the abuse they put you through every day, because you got to live around them every day. You're going to be listening to what they have to say. You're going to be, God damn, they're fucking sick. And when you say something, it doesn't lead to nothing. Nothing happens. They don't do nothing. And you don't know why at first, okay? You're like, why am I not out on my release that was approved years ago? Why is this happening to me? See, my release was already approved. Why am I still here? Why is everyone calling me a sexual predator and saying Bonnie Tucker didn't sexually abuse me when she helped patients escape and did romantic relationships and was caught doing drug smuggling? Why is this all going on? How come I'm being drugged and beat up, and how come people are saying it didn't happen? You know, goddamn, you get fucked up in there. And the staff will know how to come after you, because if they want to make you look like shit, I saw this happen with other patients too. What they're doing, they'll just keep harassing you. They'll keep treating you a certain way that makes you emotional. You're like, you're being abused every day, emotionally. Another patient, a female staff sexually harassed a male patient. And then they'll keep using Sue Pabell as her name. She's a bitch fucking tard. They keep bringing Sue Pabell around this other patient whenever they want to get him in trouble. When she's supposed to be off the unit, working somewhere else, they'll bring her over to harass him and everything. They'll do that. That's the weird type of shit they do. And then he'll start crying afterwards, and then the staff will say, well, you know what? You better shut up, or otherwise you're going back to maximum, dude. You fucking little sexual predator. You stalking her again, huh? And they're the ones bringing her over there to harass him, see? And then he sits there, he doesn't even know what to do because no one's there to help him. And he went through that, man. And then afterwards they go, oh, okay, well, fine, we're not going to send you back to MAC. As long as you just shut up and go back to doing whatever you're doing, and you act like we just gave you a break to cover it up, so you'll think you're the one that did something wrong or whatever. Cooking the books, dude, and they're so much more advanced than you. It's like a whole game. It's like, how do you know what the fuck's really going on or what they're doing? It's fucking insane. They're insane. The staff, they're trained to do that. They all do it. They're all buddies together. They can they just do little operations to fuck with the patients. It's insane. They'll be banging on a patient's door trying to make them angry on purpose. They'll lock a patient in your room to let the patient destroy your stuff. They'll fucking like do a bunch of games and stuff. They're always talking around you, having certain conversations because they want to fuck with you. You know, they're fucking retards. And they do that outside of the hospital too, though. Dominating politics, where they'll get crap ran in the newspaper. They want to slander the mayor because she said something about them in the hospital. They're at their union meeting. They're controlling the union. They're fucking the most, you know, they're using a lot of psychology to fuck with people's heads everywhere. They use it on the patients. They use it outside the hospital. I've heard stories about that because they joke around about how they're so good at it and how they're good at everything. Don't mess with the best. They got egos bigger than anyone. And they're doing it with criminal intent. I'm serious, man. These guys are really good at what they do. Randy Davis is one of their butt buddies. Their biggest fucking idiots who would do that type of shit. He would be telling me stories of, you know, talking to other staff amongst themselves out in the hallways. Randy Davis would be talking about the stuff they do at the union meetings, and they would be there with all they're all fucking making a lot of noise to put anxiety and all the other, because there's different unions that are part of the same group, right? So there's people who would work at different parts of the hospital, not the hospital, different parts of the government. They'd just be telling me stories about how they'd be dominating and, you know, making everyone feel uncomfortable and shit. They'd be making noise and using their whistles aggressively and shit. different. I don't know, but they do a lot of games, dude. And I saw this same shit. I mean, really good professionals do that. Other people might not feel that they have a right to speak up or have a say when you're around that type of behavior, that aggressive shit. And then they get what they want. They get I don't know what they'd want, because I wasn't there. I was just hearing the stories of how stupid ass they were. They did that with the hospital replacement project too, because they would go to the meetings and dominate the meetings, and they had an agenda to build the new hospital. There was Bob Nickel was one of the administrators. He tried to combat that because he saw what they were doing, and then the staff would be back in the hallways talking about it all. So they knew exactly what he was doing and that he was trying to sabotage what they were doing. And Randy's like, oh, they know what they're doing, you know, when they would invite patients to be at the meeting so that the staff couldn't have their usual dominance of the whole process and get to say whatever they wanted, make the patients look crazy and violent and everything. Because that's what goes on. That's how you keep a violent shithole hospital going, is you project this whole idea that you're doing the community a service and you know what you're talking about, and all these people are crazy and violent, and there's a reason the hospital should be built and all that. Just to your specification. Shouldn't be shut down, shouldn't be like, they were going to do smaller community centers. They sabotaged those plans. They were going to replace the hospital with community centers all around the hospital, or the state. So you would have a center in each city, in each part of the state, instead of a hospital. And they went to town to stop those plans, so there would be one central hospital in Salem, so they could keep control of everything. They have their jobs, they don't get fired, they're not replaced. And that's why we have a new state hospital today, because they're so damn effective at doing all that shit. And none of the crimes at the state hospital were ever dealt with. Nobody even knows how bad it is there. Everyone who's working there now today is comfortable. They're making money. The state had to pour so much money into that place. It's all about the money, the Benjamins. Everyone's got job security now. Everybody. Even the lawyers and the advocates who are supposed to be representing the damn patients. It was win-win for everybody. The greatest fucking conspiracy. The greatest sham ever. $500 million to build that new fucking hospital. And the money is prevented from going into community programs now too. All that money would have went to community programs. Instead it's going to a damn institution that doesn't need to exist. There's nothing there, man. You can't even show a benefit to that place. To the people who are there, not to the staff. And you can't really show a benefit. Do they walk out better? Do they not have brain? They're giving brain injuries there. How come that's seen as good care? No? Why is that okay? Why don't they have the right to be citizens and to go and be productive people? You know? Why don't they get to go to school? Why don't they get psychotherapy instead of drugs? They don't give psychotherapy out ever there. How come when you're ready to go back to living your life, you don't get to go back to living your life? That's the thing there too. You could be ready. 10 years go by, you're still not out. It's because all the money, all the resources are put to holding you in that shithole.